In August 2005, in the bustling city of Fortaleza, Brazil, a crime was committed that was so audacious, so perfectly planned, and so silently executed that it left authorities completely baffled. There were no alarms, no forced entries, no dramatic shootouts. Instead, a group of thieves simply vanished with more than $70 million, leaving behind only an empty vault in an underground tunnel that would become the stuff of legend. This is the story of the Central Bank of Brazil robbery. The target was the Fortaleza branch of the Banco Central, a fortress of financial security, a symbol of the government's power. Deep inside one of its vaults lay a massive reserve of cash, stacked neatly and believed to be untouchable. The building was guarded around the clock, monitored with advanced surveillance, and inspected regularly. From the outside, it was impenetrable. But the masterminds behind this heist weren't planning a frontal assault. Their weapon of choice was something far more powerful: patience. Months before the robbery, a group of men rented a small commercial property just a few blocks from the bank. To the outside world, it appeared to be a new landscaping business, complete with a professional sign advertising lawn care and synthetic grass. Neighbors saw workers coming and going, carrying tools and soil. It all looked perfectly normal. But beneath the facade of this ordinary business, something truly extraordinary was unfolding. This so-called company was a front, and its real purpose was to begin digging a tunnel straight toward the heart of the central bank. This wasn't just some crude hole in the ground. The tunnel was a masterpiece of amateur engineering. It stretched nearly 80 meters, or about 260 feet, burrowing right under a busy city avenue. It was only 70 centimeters high, meaning the diggers had to crawl on their stomachs for its entire length. The walls were carefully reinforced with wooden panels and plastic sheeting to prevent collapse, and the entire passage was equipped with its own lighting and a ventilation system made from pipes and fans. The crew worked in shifts, digging day and night, removing an estimated 90 tons of dirt and rock, all by hand. They meticulously studied city maps of sewer lines and underground cables to plot the perfect, unobstructed path. Every single detail was calculated with chilling precision. After nearly 3 months of relentless, back-breaking work, the tunnel finally reached its destination. It emerged directly underneath the 1-meter-thick steel-reinforced concrete floor of the bank's vault. Using specialized diamond-tipped drills, they began the final phase of their plan. This was the most delicate part of the operation. Any mistake, any excessive vibration, could trigger seismic sensors and bring the entire plan crashing down. But they worked with the skill of surgeons, and no alarms were triggered. Over a single weekend, from Friday evening to Monday morning, the crew broke through. Once inside, they found themselves in a treasure trove, stacks upon stacks of cash. But they weren't interested in just any money. They specifically targeted old 50-real banknotes that were set to be taken out of circulation and destroyed. This was a brilliant move, as the notes were non-sequential and much harder to trace. They ignored coins and heavier bills, focusing only on these used notes. They worked tirelessly, filling bag after bag with cash, hauling them back through the narrow tunnel to their fake business headquarters. By the time they were done, more than 160 million Brazilian reais were gone. At the time, this was equivalent to about $70 million. The total weight of the stolen cash was over 3.5 tons. When bank employees arrived for work on Monday morning, everything seemed normal. It wasn't until someone went to check the vault that the shocking discovery was made. The room was practically empty. There were no signs of a break-in from the doors or walls. It was as if the money had simply evaporated into thin air. It took investigators a while to even consider looking down. When they finally discovered the small, perfectly cut hole in the floor and the elaborate tunnel beneath it, they were left in sheer disbelief. The sheer scale and sophistication of the operation were unlike anything they had ever seen. What followed was one of the largest and most complex manhunts in Brazil's history. The federal police were called in, and the investigation, dubbed Operation Tupera, or Operation Mole, began. Slowly, they started to piece together the puzzle. They traced the fake landscaping company and began identifying the key players. The gang was estimated to be around 25 people, each with a specific role, from digging and engineering to logistics and planning. But the precision and discipline that defined the heist quickly dissolved in the aftermath. The old saying is true: there is no honor among thieves. Greed, paranoia, and betrayal took over. The gang split the money and scattered across the country. One of the alleged masterminds, Luis Fernando Ribeiro, was kidnapped and held for ransom by a group of corrupt police officers. His family paid millions for his release, but he was found dead weeks later. His story was just the beginning. Over the next few years, a trail of violence and death followed the stolen money. More than 20 people connected to the heists, including several gang members, were murdered in disputes over the cash or by rivals trying to steal their share. Despite a massive law enforcement effort and numerous arrests over the years, only a small fraction of the stolen money, about 20 million reais, was ever recovered. The vast majority of it vanished without a trace, likely laundered through shell companies, real estate purchases, or simply hidden away, never to be seen again. The fate of the remaining fortune remains one of Brazil's biggest mysteries. The central bank robbery in Fortaleza has become a legendary tale in the world of crime. It stands out not because of violence or brute force, but because of its incredible intelligence, patience, and meticulous planning. It was a crime that demonstrated that the greatest heists aren't always loud and dramatic. Sometimes, they are silent, invisible, and carried out with a level of discipline that borders on genius. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most secure institutions can have vulnerabilities, not to explosives or guns, but to the quiet, persistent application of human ingenuity. A robbery so perfect in its execution that it continues to fascinate and confound investigators and true crime enthusiasts to this day. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most incredible heists, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next story. Sometimes, the truth really is stranger than fiction.